Yo, this is Fragiles. We're here with another tutorial of what happens if I can't use Oremo or I use a Mac. So we have this alternative which is really good called RecStar. RecStar. It's a thing that's got a cleaner UI than Oremo and pretty much does practically everything the same, right? So what you're gonna want, first of all, is you're gonna want Python. You're gonna want Python, so you're gonna search for Python. Python's like a coding thing. You can click into it. I have version 3.1. So you're gonna go into it, you're gonna go into the downloads, and the latest Python is 3.13.5, right? But you could choose to either pick like the same one I have, 3.1, or you could choose the newest one. I will warn you, sometimes the newest one can be a little wonky, so do take that with caution. And then after you get Python, you're gonna like you can download the program and you can open up and it'll run you through some basics, and I don't really think that part matters as much. But then after you get Python like settled in, right, you're gonna get this thing called RecStar. So RecStar will be your recording program. RecStar is basically like Oremo, but it works for both Windows and Mac, you know? You have, if you're working on PC and you take Python, right? PC will need Python and then the RecStar like from GitHub. If you want to record on your phone, they do have an app for it right here. See, it looks like this, right? It's gonna look like this. The only issue with this app is you'll have to also know how to transfer your recording files from like your device to your PC or whatever you're using to like auto later, right? So a lot of people have trouble with that. So if you already have like a PC, there's no point in recording here, unless you know how to do it. So you have Python, and then you're gonna go into GitHub, and then you're gonna get RecStar from here. Don't even pay attention to half of this. What you're really looking for here is this thing called releases, right? You're looking for the latest release. This is the one I have, 1.1.2. You click on it, and it'll show you all these things. So you're going to look for one of these things, like these cube looking things that shows yours. I have a Windows, so this is what I picked, 1.1.2 Windows 64 zip. If you have a Mac, I believe one of these will fit you. Pick the one that fits your PC. So let's say you click on it, right? And then it'll ask you to download it, and you choose a place to download it. See, I already have mine in my music file. It's right here. You download it in its compressed folder. After you like download it, you extract it, and then we're pretty much set with the program, okay? So once you extract it, and you have your thing right there, you click into it, and this is basically the things you should be seeing. You might not see this one though. You'll see the files that help it run. You'll see the application. This is what we'll be using. And this is how we open the app itself. And then the icon file, which is like the picture for the application. You double click on the application file, okay? And then it'll show up with this screen. This is your RecStar interface, right? There's this thing called sessions. Sessions are basically like, you know, like recording sessions. Like one session equals one voice bank, 2 sessions equals 2 voice banks, so on and so forth, like, or like multi-pitches, whatever you want, right? Before we touch this session button like at all, you're going to want to do a few things. So first off, you're going to go to the right here. If you see in this little area, there's a 3 dots. You're gonna click on this and you're gonna go to settings. We need to set up the settings before you do anything, okay? The language is auto. I have mine in English. I can read it. I've got dark theme here. If you want light theme, I'm not gonna click it so I don't flashbang y'all. None of this matters here. The recording part matters. This is more like personal choice. If you're a Windows user and you're using RecStar just for the fun of it, you can already like understand what half this is. Continuous recording. If you're using RecStar, let's say continuous recording is you have a choice. Like, so when you're reading down like a list, right? You're recording and you're reading through a list. You have RecStar will like break up the list into separate lines, okay? There will be like so many lines, and you can either choose to do it line by line, or you can choose to read the whole list of lines all in one go. Okay, if you are confident you can pull that off and read the whole list in one session, like non-stop, no breaks, no nothing, which for VCV is kind of insane, but I've done it before. You would toggle this on. If you want to do it like a few lines here and there and then take a break, do not turn this on. Leave it off, okay? We're just gonna leave it off so I can show you. Trim recording. So they will probably ask you for a GuideBGM. Hope you have one. ᵇᵉᶜᵗᵃဍ has like the best one. You can also make other ones. Some people have them, some people don't. Always make sure to have one that like fits a time that you can record comfortably and at a pitch you can record comfortably. And then this is trim recording. So what this does is, if this is on, it'll look for the GuideBGM you're using, right? And it'll see how long that file is, and then it'll only record for as long as that file plays, right? If like the GuideBGM only plays for like 5 seconds, the recording will start and then stop after 5 seconds. If you turn this off, it's gonna like probably keep continuing on even past that, right? So we're just gonna turn this on so it's like very systematic. Hold to record. This is a fun one. If you ever use Oremo, you might have a habit of like holding down a button to record. Some people like doing it, some people don't. I'm more of a tap once and then it records, right? So you can choose it. If you like holding down a button, just toggle this on. Shortcut for recording. This is important. So RecStar's natural button is enter, right? But they have two choices. You can either use enter or the Oremo classic button, R for record. You can just leave it at enter. What it basically means is when you click one of these buttons, whichever one you choose, it'll start the recording. Okay? Yeah. So we're just gonna have enter. Enter will be my button. Remember this for later. And these two are pretty much self-explanatory. You can go through the settings. What's really important is, this is for your audio things. Title bar, don't need to move that, is this thing called location of content directory. This is where all of your like recordings will literally go, or basically your RecStar file and your session stuff will go, okay? So if you need to choose this properly, because otherwise RecStar will choose for you and they will probably put it in a weird area. If you do not have like a clean like folder system, you will not find this. You're gonna click the location content directory. What I did was I put it into the RecStar folder right here. So if you see I have here, I double click and then I just select a folder. My folder here is here. I select the folder. It's already there. It's done. That's where it's gonna go. Okay? Easy, simple, done. Now that your settings are done, we're going to go into this thing called like file. We haven't started a session yet, but what we want to do is import a Reclist. So I hope you have a Reclist. I've currently been working with ᵇᵉᶜᵗᵃซี้Reclist, slightly modified. We're gonna click on this, and then you're gonna go find a Reclist that you have. It could be anywhere, who knows, right? Yeah, whatever Reclist you have, it's here. Like, see, these are all the Reclists I have right now. You could just click one, and then you could open it up. And then I'll ask, do you want to import the corresponding? And we're just gonna click yes, too. Just because. Or not. If you have a comment file that you need to understand, then you click yes. But most times you won't, so you might as well click no. And then after you import the Reclist, you're going to import a GuideBGM. And then you look for wherever your background music is. I've already imported it, so it's probably not gonna show. But yeah, you do that, and then you click enter and whatever. So here's a session. It's asking for session, right? When you want to make a voice bank, you're going to start a session. A session is basically like, you know, one recording voice bank. One session equals one voice bank, and so on and so forth, like I said. You click plus. If you have already, as we said, we've already like imported the Reclist, it should show up here, right? They'd be like, hey, this is the Reclist you imported. Do you want to pick this? If you have another one you want to pick, you click the 3 dots here, and it says import, and then you can find another one that you want, right? Like as I said before, there was this. You click open. I don't have a comment file, so I clicked no, and bam, see, it shows up. But right now I'm gonna use this. I'm gonna click on this one because I want to make this one, and it's gonna show up here, right? This is your main interface. If you have a GuideBGM, you're gonna wanna look into here. This thing right here, not set. That means that you might have imported like the background music, but you haven't set it for this yet. So it's gonna record like willy-nilly. You're gonna click on this. You're gonna look for your GuideBGM. I already have one imported. If you don't have one, you click the 3 dots, click import, find where it is, select it, and then it'll pop in here, right? So I'm just gonna click this. Once it says selected, you'll know it's being picked, and then you can like back out again, right? And it'll show up here. See, look. Now this is your GuideBGM music that you picked. This is your Reclist you picked. The next thing you want to do is look at the 3 dots in the corner here. Click through. You don't need to click this. You want to rename your session, right? Because our session is currently this long name, and that's not good. Your session is basically, think of it like another word for like voice bank or like file that you're trying to make, right? So if you want to, like, let's say you're making a voice bank, and I don't know what I'm gonna name. I'm just gonna name it something like kawaii there, right? So now I have a voice bank named kawaii. Or maybe if you were making like a multi-pitch thing, right, or multi-expression, you might want to name this like a vivid bank or like a power or whatever, right? But we're just gonna call it the temporary voice bank. Oops. Try not to put 2 weird symbols in it. I do know that messes up sometimes. We're just gonna leave it at this, okay? And then there it is, temporary voice bank. So this was your file now, and it's gonna hold all your recordings you're about to do. If you look here, there's multiple ways to record. You can either like click this button, click the recording button, and it'll play the tune to start you off, and then you record, right? This is the line you're currently recording. You could switch to the lines with the up, down arrow, up, down, or you could go right, left, like that, right? You can also like click through with these buttons. It's all the same thing. As said, you could click here to record, or if you remember your like shortcut button for recording, remember when I was talking about the enter key or the R key? We picked enter for this one. So if I click the enter key, it automatically starts the thing. And because I also have like a tap one instead of holding it, if I just click just once, it'll start. So let's try. And there you go, right? If you click space, it's not like Oremo, so nothing's gonna happen. But if you click here, this will play it back for you. Right? And it shouldn't have the background music in the background. It should just be straight your voice. And once you're done with that and you're satisfied, you can move on. Like this one. But if you're like not happy with this one, you can like record it again by clicking the record button again, or your recording key again, right? Let's move on to the next one just for like showcasing it. And there you have it. Now I've got 2 things recorded, and you're gonna want to do this for like how many things you want in your rec list. This one's a pretty long one because it's extensive. Yeah. And then once it's done, it makes no mistake, this saves as it go, right? So you don't necessarily have to save. It saves as it go and immediately puts into the your Voicebank folder like right away after it's done recording. So I'll show you. If you just like minimize this and you go into your folder, right? So here it is, my RecStar folder. There should be this thing now. If you pick the directory that I did, the thing called RecStar folder, you click into here, you're going to go into sessions. And then your session should show your Voicebank folder right here, right? Our thing was named temporary Voicebank. So if I click into this, it'll show all the things I've recorded so far. Bam, see? There it is, that was the thing I recorded. So you're gonna do it for like the entire time, and then once it's done, you are pretty much set, and then you can go into the auto side, which you can use things like or sampler. You can try to use set param, which doesn't work for Romaji. You can try to use vLabeler, which is kind of like the RecStar but of like set param. And then it goes from there. So try to get this done first. Just try to record first, and then you can just move on to getting your auto file. Anyways, good job. That's all. Good luck.